Bilstein 5100's worth it. Hang around and find out. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for jumping in for the ride. You know the deal. If you can hit that subscribe button and the bell notification below, it sure would help out with the algorithm. At the time of the install of the Bilstein 5100s, the truck had about 96,000 miles. The truck is equipped with a 5-liter V8, 6-speed automatic, and 355 electronic locking differential. So I'm about 500 miles after the install, so I thought it'd be time for a review just to kind of let you know my opinion on if the Bilstein 5100s are worth it. So first of all, doing some research, the 4600s are the model below the 5100s, and I kind of did some research on the standard stamped steel body, yellow paint. Not as cosmetically attractive. I've seen some decent reviews on 5100s. Are supposed to be a little more in the middle of the quality, and they are ride height adjustable. On the upper end of the 5100 is the 6112. Now, the reason I didn't go with the 6112 is because it's basically a full replacement coilover assembly. It comes with a new coil spring. And my understanding about the 6112, it's a little more for a little more aggressive off-road situation. And that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Just full transparency here, this truck spends most of its time on concrete. The four-wheel drive is more applicable to my son and I going deer hunting in the fall months, things like that. So that's the reason I went with the 5100. It's more the middle of the road for a premium application. It does have some adjustability, and to be honest, in my opinion, it just has a great aesthetic appearance. Now, obviously at 96,000 miles, the factory force shocks and struts, they were ready for replacement. They were tired and worn out. So the install is as straightforward as it gets. It's something that you can do in a driveway in a day, no problem. Rears are obviously the easy part. There's 2 bolts, one top, one bottom. It'll be done in 20 to 30 minutes. The fronts are going to take the biggest part of the afternoon. Obviously, if you have a buddy, it's going to make the job way more efficient. So now while I'm driving into Dallas, I thought it would be a great time for a quick review if you're interested in the Bilstein 5100 to consider them for anything that you may be driving. So post the initial install, I did notice that the 5100s had a slightly stiff ride for maybe the first 50 to 75 miles. After that, they seemed to kind of fall into place, relax a little bit. So the first thing that was extremely noticeable was with the original Goodyear tires on here, I was thinking that I had a lot of road noise coming from those tires, and I'm sure I still do. So there's a review coming up on that pretty quick with the new tires. However, the 5100s seem to have substantially quietened the ride down. Now, I didn't do any sort of measurement before and after with a dB meter, although I do have one on my phone. I just didn't consider it. I didn't think the shocks and struts would make such a substantial difference in the noise level, but they did. So then there's the ride quality. The ride quality is drastically improved. Now, to be fair, obviously the Ford components were extremely worn out. So the only thing that we really have to go off of is just memory from where the factory ride was. The truck seems to follow dips much more smoothly, and it recovers much faster as far as suspension movement goes. Now, my wife is a real estate agent, and we do show a substantial amount of rural property. So we've been down quite a few county roads, gravel roads, things of that nature. The ride quality is just totally different when it comes to washboard roads, gravel roads, things like that. So then there's still the question, are the Bilstein 5100s worth it? Well, like many questions, I would say it depends. If you're looking for something to put on a vehicle that you may be keeping for a few thousand miles, 10,000 miles, you may be flipping it pretty quick, or if it's something you just honestly don't care that much about, probably not, because of the price point. Now, if this is a vehicle that you plan on keeping for an extended length of time, like I will keep this truck for another 100 to 150,000 miles, probably another 4 to 5, maybe 6 years possibly, depending on the situation, I would say absolutely. The price point isn't cheap. It's definitely not entry level by any stretch of the imagination, but between the aesthetic view of them, between the overall construction, build quality of these struts and shocks, I would say absolutely. You can't go wrong.